Both of you have to go. Go.
All right, fine. Bye.
No. Not you, Ben. You can stay.
Oh, I see how it is.
No, this is the 29 and under club over here.
Oh God. Fuck you. Fuck you. Fuck you. Hello and welcome to Star Wars Every Week Forever, the podcast in which we watch one Star Wars movie every week forever. Today, we start our fourth rotation with The Phantom Menace. I'm going to go out of order this time. Chris, how was your watch?
Oh, you fuck.
It was alright. It's fucking Phantom Menace.
Mm-hmm. Now, Ben, how was your watch?
Well, Josh, how was your watch?
So, I guess it was fine. Something funny happened this time around where every time I saw Ewan McGregor smirk, I kept thinking about Trainspotting, so I took a 4.5 hour break to watch Trainspotting 1 and 2 because I didn't want to fucking watch Phantom Menace. And then I got to the end of Trainspotting 2 and I was like, fuck, I gotta watch Phantom Menace, so I did. It was fine. It was fucking Phantom Menace, what do you want me to say? Ben.
This week, today, is a glorious day, my friends.
This is where we go into Ben just talking for an hour straight.
Yeah.
I got not one, not two, but 3 pod races this week.
God.
The opening chapter of A New Hope of the Phantom Menace novelization is the pod race where Anakin destroys the pod.
I hate that fucking author for doing this to us.
Oh, it made me so happy. Also, Josh, you'll be happy to hear this has forced me to take notes.
Oh, fantastic. I actually am glad to hear that. I thought you were going to spout off a pod racing stat, and I wouldn't have been happy to hear that.
Well, now that you mention... No.
That fucking pod race feels as long as The Last Jedi these days. It's just...
I wish it was.
Shut up.
I mean, I basically just, like, dissociate every time the pod race starts. So...
I do the same thing. After, like, the second rotation, my brain just started turning off during the pod racing scene. I might as well not be there. I'm fucking drooling out my mouth watching it, just not paying attention to it. I'm, like, looking at the screen because I have a rule that I have to look at the screen. If I do anything that's not looking at the screen, I have to pause the movie. So I'm looking at the screen, but I might as well be a drooling mess because I'm just fucking disassociating so much as well.
Yeah. This sounds like a really healthy process for all of us.
All I'm hearing is I have to culture the both of you.
I think the entire 9 movies can be best described by a quote that happens in the pod racing scene, and that is Skywalker's spinning out of control.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, basically. That's the entire saga.
Yeah. One of our fans sent a meme of that, and I can't remember who it was, but I appreciate it.
It's great. So I have a couple of notes here.
I would hope so. After what you went through this week, I would hope you have some notes or stuff to talk about.
So when I was doing,
just as a reminder for anybody that might be starting this episode without listening to previous rotations, Ben is listening to every single Star Wars audiobook of the movies this rotation, and he's fucking insane.
So if this is where you've started, I bet you're real confused right now.
Well, not to go
welcome.
behind the scenes, but apparently there was a huge group of people that just jumped in the first episode of last rotation for some reason, so I'm fine with that too.
It came in after the Christmas episode, or the holiday special episode, rather. And if that was your jumping off point, why the fuck are you still here?
that's your jumping off point, I'm sorry. There is a there is a character named Fanta, like the soft drink, that Jar Jar harasses to no end during the Boonta Eve pod race. And just that tickled me. Names in the Star Wars universe have been giving me like fucking laughing fits anymore lately.
Okay, I just looked up Fanta, and this fucking design is
I was gonna get to I should have warned you not to look it up because he's a Polt.
Okay.
Which they describe them as looking similar to Gungans. And I'll forward the Wikipedia article now, because other than having a droopy face, I don't see anything going on here.
I don't know what to. This design.
And all it is like a sketch.
This design looks like somebody tried to create an alien-human hybrid, and I mean alien from the horror movie Alien, not just
like
random
a xenomorph.
alien. Yeah, xenomorph.
This looks like someone got kicked in the head by a horse and then tried to draw Jar Jar from memory.
So this entire
So hold on, let me explain what it looks like for the.
Oh yeah.
This individual has two-toed feet and ankles so thin that you could probably touch a toe to it and break it. Otherwise regular legs that for some reason the hips go into their butt, and like a really long caterpillar-like midsection and upper chest, and arms that come out so far back out of the shoulder joints that I can't assume that they were ever in place, and really long arms that are also could probably be broken by slightly slapping them, with a number of fingers I can't tell because they're very fat fingers that look either like multiple fingers or 3 fingers.
It looks like 3. Oh my god.
They're also oblong in a very strange way.
This was one of the early designs of the Nemoidians.
Oh god. And then there's a long neck that also looks like you could slightly tap it and it would break. And then I don't know how to say otherwise. It's just a flat face. Like it's got a skull cap almost that is at the top of the neck, and the rest entirely comes down. It's just flat. It's just a flat face.
It's like if you took a xenomorph's head and flipped it backwards, so like the arch part is coming forward, and put a face
and it's just
at
like this doodle
end of it.
Yeah.
It's beautiful.
It's fucking horrifying.
So for this read through or listen through or whatever you want to call it, I tried to like take all the images of the movies out of my head and just like put things together as the author described them. Jar Jar's a nightmare. Because
I mean, yes, but continue.
The author regularly describes him having like a bill almost. I forget what the word they use exactly is, but he describes it as almost a duck bill.
Oh yeah, I've seen concept art that looks like that.
And that just threw me for a fucking loop. Because like Jar Jar already sticks out like a sore thumb, but like just that imagery like really got me.
Because like the original designs they were going for, like not original, but like when they finally had an idea, they were very much going for a bipedal duck-billed dinosaur, and then they just got fucking wild with it. Somebody put a bunch of freckles on Jar Jar, and they were like, okay, let's run with this.
Another thing that threw me for a loop was they take a big detour to describe the background of the Sith in this book, which surprised me. I wasn't really expecting that. And they actually name drop Bane, which I thought was cool.
That's pretty cool.
But they go out of their way to say that at the time of Phantom Menace, the Sith were an established cult for 2,000 years.
That's fucking strange.
Yeah, because the Sith have been around for like orders of magnitude longer than that.
I mean, Kotar and all of that got made after that novelization, so it's another example of.
It still like shocked me. I was like, oh, okay. Like obviously they were like, we're gonna make them really old.
I noticed this watch that Qui-Gon. I never noticed that what sends Maul off of the one landing down to another is that Qui-Gon does the closest, laziest fucking back fist that I've ever seen in my life.
It's almost as if he's doing the back fist of a man who cannot lift his arms any higher.
Speaking of,
it's very much no shoulders.
Speaking of Qui-Gon's shoulders, in this book,
no,
there is a line, and I quote, during the duel, they talk about the, quote, wariness in Qui-Gon's shoulders.
Fantastic. High art.
Poetic cinema.
Just perfect. Brilliant.
And I made that note with Chris's name in parentheses.
I mean, since we're here, I don't want to derail the novelization talk, to talk about actually Star Wars, but since we're here and we're talking about Qui-Gon and we're talking about Liam Neeson, I need to inflict this knowledge that I've come across.
I know it.
This
I'm
week
the
on
one that put it in the chat. I'm pretty sure where you're going with this. I'm the one that put it in the chat. Go. Do.
Did you? What did you put in the chat?
Say what you're gonna say.
So Liam Neeson.
No.
Liam Neeson has on multiple occasions apparently.
Yes, exactly what I put in the chat. Yes.
No. It is exactly
I don't remember
what Josh
this
put
being.
Discord.
I don't remember this. When did I miss this?
A couple weeks ago, I put it in the chat.
January 13th.
The saddest thing is I missed it there, and I came across this information entirely of my own accord.
Oh my god.
And that's almost worse. Liam Neeson just frequently is pissing on himself out in public.
This is his pants fully and often on purpose.
Constantly.
Constantly.
Like, people are taking photos with him. They have their arms around him, and he's just... He's very clearly pissed his pants. Like, what?
And it's not like a couple. It's dozens of these pictures.
You did come across this in the Discord chat, because your reaction to it was no shoulders and no shame.
How long the last couple of weeks have been? I don't fucking remember that piece of information. Jesus Christ.
Let's spitball. How many times do you think
I don't want to.
Liam Neeson pissed himself on the set of Star Wars Episode 1, The Phantom Menace?
I don't want to spitball about Liam Neeson.
Like, what's going on there? Like, is it like the higher your midichlorian count, the less bladder control, or more bladder control? Like, what's?
No, like I don't
How
think it's.
How many midichlorians do you lose when you piss your pants? How many midichlorians are left behind? How many get transferred?
How many midichlorians do you lose when you piss yourself?
What's the transfer rate?
Well, Qui-Gon Jinn had a midichlorian count of 15,200.
Oh God, why did you do this to him? But no, like that is a man who has no shame about pissing himself. It's not like he pisses. I don't think he pisses himself and doesn't notice. I think he pisses himself and is well aware that he has pissed himself. It just does not care.
I mean, it's hard not to notice you pissing yourself.
This has apparently been common knowledge for years. Like, these photos are, like, date back years. Not one single motherfucker has been brave enough in a goddamn interview with Liam Neeson to just be like, hey, Liam, what the fuck, man?
Why do you piss yourself so often?
It is my life's goal to somehow obtain the credentials to carry out an interview with Liam Neeson for the sole purpose of asking him why he pisses himself and if he's aware of it and how many times he did it on the set of Star Wars Episode 1, The Phantom Menace.
I like how one
So-
of them is he aware of it? Like, he just gets home and he's like, shit, my pants got wet again today. What the fuck?
Who pissed my pants?
So our goals with this podcast currently are 1, get Rick McCallum on, 2, get Liam Neeson on. We have very
1.
attainable goals.
Rick McCallum on. 2, ask Rick McCallum how many times Liam Neeson pissed himself. The Phantom Menace.
God. Every day we stray further from God's light.
It's fine. On Attack of the Clones, a brother of an NSYNC member shit his pants, and in Phantom Menace, Liam Neeson pissed his
You know,
Jedi
it's-
robe
What's going on in catering?
It's like poetry. It rhymes.
God.
I was waiting. I had this written down, and I was waiting for a time where we were talking about Qui-Gon to bring it up. But I'm glad you cut me off at the pass because I'm fascinated with this factoid. Because I had in bold, the only thing I've ever bolded in my notes, Liam Neeson pisses his pants fully and often. I was just waiting for my chance.
God.
It's so fucking strange.
And just in case Liam Neeson is listening to this podcast, we respect your decision and we want you to come on and talk about the pros of pissing your pants.
In case
Yeah,
Liam
yeah.
Neeson is one of the,
I mean-
30 people who listen to us.
Yeah, I mean, your boy is definitely sitting on a bag or something or a towel, but I mean, he's more than welcome to join us.
God.
Oh God. I'm so glad it got brought up the way it did because it would have really sucked if I ended the podcast by saying Liam Neeson pisses his pants all the time. Thank you for listening to Star Wars Every Week.
That actually depresses me that more than one time this month that information has passed by my eyes.
It's because we talk about Liam Neeson so much, we bring these things on ourselves.
Hate everything.
The universe is like, you need to see this twice this month.
The worst part was when I saw it, it was one of those fucking Twitter ads that you get where it's just
What?
like a random account with a link to that you will absolutely not follow. To like, you won't believe what this Hollywood actor does. And I looked and he pissed himself. I'm like, I'm not following that link, but I want to know what's up with this. And that's how I found out.
It's like, hey, yo, Siri, what's good with Liam Neeson pissing himself?
We're just slowly gonna get everyone who worked on Star Wars to hate us. Is what's gonna happen.
No, like, I have a feeling Liam is proud of this thing he does because there's no way he's not. Because there's
I
no
hope
way
he
he
is.
doesn't.
If he
know.
is, good for him. Like,
Yeah.
I in no way slight him for that. I wish
Please.
I had the gonads to just fucking piss myself in public.
Liam Neeson, come onto the podcast, talk about the accident before this episode, because we'd love to hear how it affected your performance. Come on and talk about coming back to do a voice in Rise of Skywalker and how out of the blue that might have been. And then
I
tell
would
us
love
about
to hear
your
about the
tell
wariness
us
of
about
your
your
shoulders.
view of the universe and why pissing your pants is a part of it. Please, I beg of you, come on this podcast to talk about
Oh, you know, it was great coming back for Rise of Skywalker. They have these new sound booths. I've never pissed in something so state of the art before.
I started pissing my pants when the bidets came. I don't trust them. So I don't go to any bathrooms anymore.
I figured if I was pissing my pants in public, people'd stop asking me for pictures. They kept doing it anyway.
They started asking more.
Turns out they want more pictures when you're pissing your pants in public. Shit, fuck me.
Where do we go from here?
This is a really weird Downtime Darth spinoff. I can't believe it. Season 2 went in a weird direction.
Can't quench Qui-Gon.
Qui-Gon gin and tonic.
fucking right.
It's just.
Oh my god, they do this in the movie, but in the novelization they do a lot more of it. There's an entire like C plot. I wouldn't even call it a B plot, where Obi-Wan's mad at Qui-Gon because Qui-Gon said Obi-Wan's ready for the trials, even though Obi-Wan agrees he's ready for the trials. And it's just like the weirdest. The author just mentions like 3 times, like, yes, Obi-Wan and Qui-Gon weren't talking that much. And then all of a sudden they just make up. And I'm just like, what, why?
So it's all right, son. Come give me a hug. Master, why are your robes wet?
Maybe that's why Qui-Gon was ostracized in the Jedi Temple. It's not because of his beliefs or his not following the council. It's because he pisses himself all the time.
No pants need you, Qui-Gon. What they are.
We do not usually have. I can't even do Yoda today. Never mind. I'm bailing out. I'm bailing out a Minch.
Youngling are you? I'm bailing out of
Bailing
Minch.
out of Minch.
Straight out of Minch.
I like that hit Ben and I at the same time.
Fucking Christ.
Oh, God.
This isn't in my notes, but Padme's a space racist.
What?
She straight up out loud in the book tells everyone, yeah, we'll just capture Newt Gunray, and the Nemoidians are just, she says, like, if they don't have someone giving them orders, they just won't do anything, because Nemoidians need to get bossed around in order to do anything.
Jesus.
And I was just like, wow, that's a racist 15-year-old ruler of a planet.
He shouldn't make a 15-year-old a ruler of a planet, even if it's
also
Padme on a dog.
there's that, but like that was less the author's fault,
I mean,
more George Lucas's fault.
Look, hey, when you have the queen of your world wearing headdresses that are so fucking heavy that they are compressing the joints in their neck, maybe they shouldn't be making decisions for the entirety of the
Jesus
planet.
Christ. Anakin and Padme
Really?
flirt throughout the entirety of this book, and it feels
Gross,
so
gross, gross,
weird.
Gross.
I'm just like,
gross,
stop.
Gross. Gross.
And then there's the whole reveal where she's like, "Oh, I'm the queen," and Anakin's like, "This makes me feel different about you, but not like different about you, just different." And she's like, "Well, do you still like me?" And he's like, "Well, do you still like me?" And I'm like, "I really want to die right now."
The sexual awakening of Anakin Skywalker. Thank you. Who wrote this fucking book?
Give me a sec. I had the name in my head, but I lost it.
God, it'd be hilarious if it was that author that Josh hates.
No, it's not the one who did the Commando books.
Yeah.
No, it's not her.
Oh, it's definitely not Karen Travis, but R.A. Salvatore wrote Attack of the Clones, and I'm really looking forward to that.
No.
He did.
Who the fuck did he drop a moon on in that?
Terry Brooks did the Phantom Menace.
Oh,
Terry Brooks.
yeah,
He
that
dropped
makes
a moon on
sense.
Terry Brooks.
I don't know anything about Terry Brooks. So.
That makes sense. He's a really esteemed fantasy author, and also
Yeah.
did a lot of early stuff with Star Wars.
Oh, is he? No. Who's the guy who did the original A New Hope novelization and the Splinter of the Mind's Eye? Who's that?
The original A New Hope novelization was actually made directly by George Lucas.
Oh shit.
Terry Brooks is the guy that did those Shannara books, right?
Yeah. Good
Who
book.
did Splinter of the Mind's Eye? Is that Terry Brooks? Is that because I know there's a creator that allegedly Disney's been like fucking over royally, and I'm pissed off about it still.
I hope this is not anybody's first episode, because Jesus Christ.
You're talking about Alan Dean Foster.
Alan Dean Foster, yes.
Yeah, no, if this is your first episode, I apologize. But also, when you saw the word forever on a podcast, you probably should have expected delirium.
The delirium. I was explaining to my coworker about the hive mind the other day. She jokingly said something about me joining a cult with her, and I was like, listen, I'm already a part of 2 other cults. I really can't do a third one. She's like, what's the first 2? I'm like, well, one's the podcast, because we've already started referring to ourselves as the hive mind.
Yeah. We share a mind.
And the other is a joke between the friend group that Josh, Chris, and I share.
We share a mind, and goddamn it, it's scary in here.
I love it. It's fun.
Yeah. Yeah, we've created a monster for sure. Question. Why the fuck did Padme just not fucking show the Senate the recording of one of her lead advisors begging for help because people were dying in mass?
Well, I mean, also, that could have easily been staged.
Yeah, but
like, just walk over to your chief of staff, like, hey, just sound desperate.
Yeah, but also, like, she presented no evidence whatsoever. Like, nothing.
The part that hits me weird is when the chancellor's like, yes, we'll have to launch an investigation to verify this. And Padme's like, no.
Because as far as she knows right there, people are dying in mass, which is why it's confusing. But also, like, watching from a 2021 perspective, things happening that fast where a new chancellor was put in place is the weirdest fucking thing. It happened so fast that you're like, is that how a government's supposed to work? I live in bad times, and I don't know how a government's supposed to work.
This fucking movie.
We broke Chris.
No, because I know I've talked about it before. It's just like, because I was too young when this came out, and obviously my father and I have talked about this movie 1,000 times since, but like, there's nothing I wouldn't give to fucking go back in time and sit in a movie theater of people like my dad who grew up with these movies and just see the fucking looks on their faces when goddamn Jar Jar Binks comes strolling in the frame. It's like, this is Star Wars now. All right, well.
I can't go back and have that experience because my dad loves like every Star Wars movie except Solo that he saw recently. He fucking hates Solo, but he likes all the other ones, although he hasn't seen Rise of Skywalker yet.
Bless his soul.
Which I think Phantom Menace was the first movie I ever saw in theaters. And there are pictures of me very young that I didn't remember until recently of me dressed up as Anakin Skywalker, so I shouldn't be able to talk. So that's a thing that happened.
That's a thing that happened that you just put out on the podcast.
I'm not ashamed. I'm ashamed of this podcast more than I am my 7-year-old self. I'm not ashamed of this podcast. It's the greatest thing that's ever happened in my life, but it's also fucking mind-numbing.
I have a thing that I'm disappointed was not put in this movie.
Oh, God.
So there is an entire
fucking pod race, Ben.
There's 2 things I'm disappointed weren't put in this movie. The opening pod race, because that would have been beautiful. And near the beginning, I think it's like the 3rd or 4th chapter. It's before the gang gets to Tatooine. Watto sends Anakin out to barter with Jawas to get new droids, and because apparently Anakin's really good at that, like Kid Anakin's good at fucking everything, but
yeah,
he goes
context to that phrasing, please.
Wait, what?
Your phrasing was very poor.
Oh yeah, no, but he goes out to get these droids. He barters with the Jawas. He takes C-3PO with him. C-3PO helps him out with stuff. And he's on his way back with the droids, and all he has is a speeder, and he doesn't have like anything to carry the droids back with, so he's just having the droids march behind his speeder as he drives very slowly. And he eventually comes upon like a canyon where he has to go through the middle, and as he enters there, he sees what looks like it was a rock slide and a Tusken Raider pinned under the rocks. and he has a blaster rifle, but it's out of reach of him, and he's clearly like real mangled and fucked up. So Anakin decides to stop everything, and C-3PO's like, don't stop, they're dangerous. And Anakin's like, I need to help him, and C-3PO's like, this is dangerous, master, and then Anakin just does it anyway. So he goes, he takes the blaster rifle away from the Tusken, and he props the Tusken up, and he kind of like helps him get comfortable and like helps him however he can without knowing their like physiology. And the Tusken's just like looking at him, and C-3PO tries to talk to the Tusken in I forget their language. Is it just Tusken?
I don't remember. I should, because I played KOTOR recently, but I don't remember.
But C-3PO tries talking to him, and he doesn't respond until eventually he looks at C-3PO, and in Tusken just yells, shut up. And eventually the Tusken asks Anakin, like, what are you going to do to me? Which C-3PO translates to him. And Anakin explains, I'm just trying to help you, blah, blah, blah. And eventually as night sets in, Anakin falls asleep, and he wakes up, and the Tusken's gone, and the blaster rifle's gone. There's like evidence that like his tribe came, helped him out, and they left Anakin, didn't do anything to him. I really wish that whole sequence, well, not the whole sequence, but like that portion with the Tusken and everything was in the movie.
Yeah, I like that. That's not,
because that
not
would
half bad.
provide so much so much interesting context to Attack of the Clones when he genocides the fuck out of them.
Yeah, I really like that. You're not wrong. It would add like 10 minutes to this movie, which I am absolutely not in favor of, because I don't want to watch 10 more minutes of Phantom Menace. But
10 minutes
in
of
theory,
on a pod race.
But no, yeah, I like that. That's a really nice scene. I like that.
What's wrong, Chris?
I'm so fucking sick of Star Wars.
I am too. I really honestly am too.
On top of reading these novelizations, watching the movies, I'm still reading Light of the Jedi. I'm also replaying Republic Commando right now. I don't know why I'm doing this to myself. And I'm not miserable doing all the stuff that isn't the movies.
The closest I've gotten to doing any other Star Wars related thing in like a month and a half is I considered for a delirious moment late at night to start reading the Yuzon Vong books again. And then it was one of those things where I was like, do I actually want to reread the Yuzon Vong books, or is it because I'm looking at this really cool cover and also it's 1 o'clock in the morning and I need to go to fucking bed? And it ended up being the later.
We have talked a few times about doing like a side episode where we talk about like the books, which I realize means I would have to read those books again. I don't think I'm doing that. I'm just letting you know that right now. I don't think that's gonna fucking happen.
I feel like this whole podcast is going to be peaks and valleys of liking Star Wars and hating Star Wars, and I don't think we can fully commit to doing side episodes about side content until we're pretty sure that we're in a peak rather than a valley.
Like, the side content's fine. I'll watch fucking Solo again so I can shit on it for an hour and a half or whatever. I'll fucking watch Rogue One so I can gush about how much I love that movie. I'll even find the time to watch Rebels again because I love Rebels, and I gotta start watching Clone Wars again. That's all fine. I can do other stuff while I'm doing that. I don't have the time. I barely read enough as it is. I got a backlog of books that are like 900-page fucking books I gotta read. I'm not reading fucking Star Wars books on top of that, damn it. Not gonna happen.
Yeah, no, I wouldn't put you through that. Absolutely not. Especially the Yuzon Vong books. That's fucking... I know everything that happens in the Yuzon Vong books, and I still haven't read every book in that series.
Josh, correct me if I'm wrong. This is way off topic, but the Yuzon Vong books, does Boba become the Mandalore?
No, that's actually...
I'm pretty sure at some point he becomes Mandalore.
Yeah,
there's later,
yeah.
Okay.
There's a side story that isn't actually a part of the Yuzon Vong series where he kind of leads the Mandalorians in retaliation to the Vong, but that's not where he becomes Mandalore. I'm pretty sure he becomes Mandalore in the Legacy of the Force series, which we've talked about so many times.
Okay, yeah.
He also trains Jaina Solo.
Yeah.
Oh, he does?
And then
Shit,
dies
right.
like a little bitch again.
Yeah.
All right, because I knew it happened somewhere around that time period. I just never was able to place it.
Yeah, no, he does become Mandalore. It's one of those things in the EU, the Mandalorians never entirely recouped until, like, that era. Like, after the Dooku incident where the Jedi had to kill so many of the Mandalorians, they never really recouped and rebuilt like they did in... Well, Clone Wars was part of the canon at that time, but before that, because Clone Wars kind of made things confusing at that time, before that, they never really recouped. There was peaks and valleys from the moment that they were defeated in the first Mandalorian Wars, and they never really recovered. But anyway, Phantom Menace.
Oh, God.
Oh, we've talked about everything. Good night, folks. It's been real. Goodbye.
I love...
Oh, Ben, stop.
Hi, Chris.
No.
I love in the novelization, they really play up the utter disgust everyone has for Jar Jar. Like, in the novel, everyone is either neutral or absolutely sick of Jar Jar.
Qui-Gon feels like that D&D player that you have that attempts to collect every NPC you run into and make them come with them.
I feel attacked. I feel called out.
All right, fuck it. 2 good things I discovered about this movie while I watched it.
Oh, okay, you're going way more positive than I was about to.
You're reaching.
I am actually. This is extreme reaching, and it has to do with John Williams and Ben Burt, who I am always willing to praise. 2 things. Late in the movie, when the B-1s are being deployed, there's this really brilliant synchronization moment where the music starts to trill and the droid's footprints play in between every single beat, every single chord, and it's a really brilliant musical moment. And I noticed when Yoda says grave, or Minch, yes, you're exactly right. Says grave, whatever combination of grave fear I have in his training. There's a little trill of the Imperial theme that I don't think I've ever really cognitively noticed. Probably because the fucking Vader theme that they use in Revenge of the Sith, it's just blaring during the funeral, and that's more obvious. Those are 2 really good Ben Burt / John Williams synchronizations that I noticed this time around in the film.
You ever feel like sometimes people are wasted on things?
Yeah.
Yeah. We gotta send Chris to therapy. I'm worried about him. Josh is like, I really like this thing, and Chris is like, don't you just hate wasted potential?
If you miss a week, like if you miss a week of the podcast and you listen to last week's episode on like right before you listen to this episode, it really sounds like I'm just still hungover from the last episode.
I mean, to be fair, aren't you?
God.
We're in a valley, folks. It's a valley.
I'm having the time of my life. I got 3 pod races this week. This is glorious. I'm happy. I'm
So
content.
I walk through the valley of the shadow of death. I shall fear no evil. I'm already in fucking hell. I'm in hell. God damn it.
Granted, I may also be content because I possibly got brain damage this week, but
yeah,
it's fine. I got whacked over the head with fucking slate countertops at work yesterday. It was great.
This bear fucked Ben up.
Yes.
Yeah, in the chat, Ben said something about a bear hitting him, and we're very, very, very confused.
I put in, I got near brain damage, and my phone was like, near, you mean bear. And I had to get back to work, so I wasn't looking at my phone for like a good 20 minutes after that. And I was like, why the fuck are we talking about bears?
But Ben is okay. Thank Christ. Also,
well, I wouldn't go that far, but I'm alive. I've never been okay, Josh.
You're as okay as you can be, considering you got smacked in the head twice yesterday. I would like to publicly say that this is my birthday, my 30th birthday, and there's nothing I'd like to do less on my 30th birthday than sit here and talk about Phantom Menace.
Confetti!
But you're spending it with us.
That I appreciate.
Yay, family! Woo.
For your birthday, you got the gift of me forgetting that you already disclosed Liam Neeson pissing all over himself. It's my gift to you. My
So-
short-term memory loss.
Ben, you can expand on this if you want, but does anybody get the feeling the only reason why Boss Nass made Jar Jar a general is because Boss Nass wanted Jar Jar dead?
Well, so in the book, Boss Nass makes Jar Jar a general, and Jar Jar's own troops don't even give a fuck about him. They're marching into war, and I forget what their mounts are called, but Jar Jar's on one, and he starts falling off. So he ends up in like the middle of his battalion, and he's trying to get them to hold while he could get back on, and they just keep fucking going. 'Cause none of them give a shit.
Fucking.
It's great. But yeah, I've got feelings about Boss Nass lately. I don't know. I could see it.
You can't leave it at that. You need to talk about Boss Nass.
No,
more.
it's just
Ben's had an awakening this week.
no.
There's been an awakening and he's felt it.
No, I wish I had fucking brain damage.
You can't go, I'm feeling things about Boss Nass recently, and then just fucking leave it there.
I mean, it is Brian Blessed, so...
You've forgotten who you're doing this podcast with. Don't leave things out there like that.
Why are you developing romantic feelings about Boss Nass, Ben?
I'm gonna die.
Is it the jowls? Is it the way it just goes?
It's that non-existent neck.
I can't tell if you're joking about
It gives me flutters. It just...
Ben and Boss Nass went all into the night. Please, I'm begging you, tell us why you are having feelings about Boss Nass.
You keep saying that, and we keep fucking doing it. You can't be like, Ben, you need to say something then. Just keep going. Which, if someone hasn't seen that movie in a while, just sounds like Ben's motorboat and Boss Nass.
Thank you for the nightmares, good friends.
Ben, talk about Boss Nass.
I don't know if I want to talk about
Boss Nass some
I'm
more,
scared
please.
to talk about Boss Nass now.
Just do it.
It's
Do
gonna
it.
make me like fucking make
Do it.
Boss Nass fan fiction. Boss Nass looked Ben deeply in his eyes,
No,
and he let out a.
No. I will leave right now.
Ben, what?
But it's just, I question how Boss Nass became a leader.
That was the payoff, Ben.
for two particular reasons.
No, the payoff, the tangent we went on.
The payoff is gonna be when fan of the show makes a fan fiction about me and Boss Nass. That's the payoff to this.
It's all fun games till I send Ben a Boss Nass body pillow.
Today on a very special episode of Merch Corner. So, why do you question Boss Nass's ability to lead, Ben?
So one, what we were talking about before, he makes, of all people, Jar Jar Binks a general.
I think he was fucking with Jar Jar.
Yes, but he gives him actual military power.
Next to another general who was far more capable.
Oh, in the book, it's not General to whatever his name is, who they meet at Odoguga.
Sure, I totally know his name.
It's a totally different character.
Oh.
Who is like the general of everything, I guess, because the whole army's just listening to him. Like he's the only general there, I guess. I don't know. It was weird. 2, the entire movie he goes on about how he can't stand the Naboo and like the Naboo always treat them like shit and blah blah blah. Then at the end, Padme's like, "I'm Queen Amidala, we want to be friends," and he's like, "Okay, we'll go die for you while you go take your city
Okay,
back."
but okay. I have to defend Phantom Menace, and I hate you for that.
3. Ben doesn't understand how anyone gets anything done because Boss Nass is so fucking sad. How are the Gungans accomplishing anything?
So, the reason why Boss Nass even considers working with the Naboo is because they literally groveled to him. They lowered themselves to beg him to help, and that played to his ego, so he's immediately like, "Oh yeah, you're gonna beg me? Sure, I'll help you."
Well, yeah, but
Much
he's
like Ben
"You're gonna
wants
beg
to-
me? Sure, I'll send fucking my whole army to go die on your behalf."
I mean, it's on both of their behalfs.
I mean, what else are they doing? What do you think Gungans do for fun? What do you think they're doing in their little bubble town?
They just sit there and go, "Brrr."
Beating the shit out of Jar Jar, I think, is what Gungans do. They're just a race of people who fucking make fun of Jar Jar 24/7. I still don't know what boom to gasser then banished means, and I hate this fucking movie. I can't describe to you how bad this movie is. Like, seriously, this is a fucking awful movie.
Look, it's fine, because next week we get to move on to the best movie in the entire franchise.
Seriously. Just stop. You have already said on this podcast that was a bit, and I refuse to accept going back into the bit.
The bit's back, Josh. The bit is back. Fuck you.
Fuck you.
Liam Neeson pisses his pants. Ben finds Boss Nass incredibly attractive, and the bit's back. Thank you. Thank you.
I don't appreciate being outed like this, guys. I thought this was just going to be our little secret.
The funny thing is, I'm the one in chat today or yesterday that put up a Brian Blessed interview about Boss Nass. So I feel in some way responsible for this, but I do not apologize.
It's for the feelings that arose.
He saw Brian Blessed and was immediately like, "That is the man for me."
I want this to stop.
We all wanted to stop Ben.
Oh my god.
There's a BU-1 battle droid in this movie that does a full-on Simpsons don't when it gets hit with a force push, and for some reason this time around I fucking guffawed for like 3 solid minutes at it. It is literally a Homer Simpson that this droid does when he gets force pushed. It's so out of nowhere and makes no fucking sense and is hilarious.
It doesn't even sound like a droid noise.
I
know exactly what you're talking. I meant to bring that up, but I forgot because I'm only taking notes on the books because it's me.
It's fucking wild. It really honestly is fucking wild.
This whole movie is fucking wild.
That's entirely true. Is there anything that stuck out more than usual to anybody this time around?
There is, but it's hit me twice and left me 3 times now, so I can't remember.
Is there anything else from the audiobook that really stuck with you?
Racist Padme, Qui-Gon's shoulders. I'm going through my checklist. In Light of the Jedi, there's actually a Gungan character they just introduced where I am in the book, and they don't do the stupid, like, fucking, the person who narrates it doesn't do the whole stupid Gungan, like, talk. Like how they're stereotyped talk like Jar Jar the whole time. And that made me happy this week. And I can't wait to start episode 2 tonight. For those of you, I'm going through the books before I watch the movies.
I mean, yeah, that's probably the best thing you can do, to be honest. Are the movies a palate cleanser for you, Ben?
So far, hard to tell, because obviously only 1 down, 8 to go. But definitely preferred the book over the movie.
That's good. I'm gonna bet
primary
that's
reason
usually the
being
case.
bonus pod race.
God damn it. How bad do you anticipate the novelization of Rise of Skywalker being?
I don't want to think about that until I absolutely have to think about that, Christopher.
Yeah, don't make him think about that.
Ben, go back to your happy place. Just think about Boss Nass.
I was about to
Sweet
say, I love how I
jowls.
use Chris's first full name and he doesn't even react, but then he comes out swinging.
Oh, Jesus. Well, you're going to have to tell us who R.A. Salvatore kills with a moon next week. But in the meantime, this has been Star Wars Every Week Forever. Good night.
We need to carry this momentum from Rise of Skywalker and this week and just carry this momentum of just pure fucking manic
Exhaustion.
bullshit.
Hey, if you enjoyed us, thought we were funny, like our content, or just really love our suffering and want to hear more of it, we're available all over the place and release episodes every Wednesday around 12 Eastern Standard Time. You can find us on Spotify, Amazon Music, TuneIn, Player FM, iHeartRadio, Google Podcasts, and in a unique format over on YouTube that our fans seem to dig. You can join in on the conversation over on Twitter as well, at SWEWF. We're quite active and love to hear from our fans. Sincerely, though. We appreciate you taking the time out of your day to spend with us on this car crash of a ride.